This is SoundOff, Louisiana's premier television sports show. Coming to you from Sportsbook at L'Auberge Lake Charles. Here are the guys, Rick, Scooter, and Kevin.
All right, Kevin and I are back holding down the SoundOff chamber here at the Sportsbook.
As always.
Scooter Hobbs off this week. Glad to have you with us.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging. We got a great show lined up for you. SoundOff,
As
of course,
always.
presented to you by Lundy Law of Lake Charles. Also presented to you by Miller Lite and L'Auberge Casino Resort. All right, we've got some deep issues and topics to get our minds ignited in deep thought.
We do.
I'm going to try to get you into some deep thought.
I'm there. I just need to convince you of what's right. That's all. I'm there.
Well, Tuesday show, we went on the court storming thing, and it almost came to fisticuffs.
Let those kids have their fun, Rick.
Let them
Come
have their
on
fun
now.
until
Let them have
somebody
their fun,
gets
man.
knocked in the head.
This is what kids pay tuition for, man. For moments like this. Okay.
I don't want to be a Donnie Downer, but there was a court storming in Arizona about 12 years ago. A high school student, all right, was in the melee, and he was partially paralyzed from it. I know I'm not a downer, but I'm adamant about this. Court storming in college basketball has to stop.
And let me say this, Rick, there is a place and a time for it. If it's a huge win, Rick, a historic win, how can you keep kids in the stands, man?
But these games that they're storming over is just not working.
Man.
Wake Forest beating number 13 Duke. I know Duke is the epitome in basketball in North Carolina.
Duke was once known as the one and done.
I know it's the Demon Deacons, but
you know.
All right.
I get it.
We'll stay on basketball. Will Wade, he's closing in on a regular season conference championship.
Will Wade's
setting
doing
the
his
bar.
thing, man.
He made an interesting comment, which kind of perplexed me about the brawl at UIW. We'll get into a little bit of that. And of course, we're going to kind of debate what's good and maybe not so good about the McNeese. I don't want to be a Donnie Downer here, but I want to get your thoughts on what you like most and what you might be concerned about for this Cowboy basketball team. Because there's some things out there,
got some points
there's some things out there that they got to get going. All right, now later on in the show, we're going to get into the college football 12-team playoff format and how kind of it's going to work and do you like it in that whole.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun about that. All right, let's get cracking with the start of the Cowboy basketball team, setting records, winning championships, looking for the tournament, that whole thing. All right, I'm going to give you the floor quickly. The number one thing, I'll give you two. What do you like that you're seeing late in the year and what concerns you about this team getting ready for the conference?
I'm going to tell you what's the top thing, knock on wood. They are healthy.
Healthy.
Kid, let me tell you, teams getting into the season this late healthy as McNeese has been.
No one has lost any minutes, to my knowledge. Felder, I think, bumped his leg.
But what has that contributed to, Rick? The rotation. When you have a bench like what Wade's got, you don't have to give these kids so many minutes where they get tired, man.
Yeah.
They got the best rotation, I think, in the Southern Conference.
Deep roster, great team chemistry. Kevin, low turnovers is incredible. They can play a game with 3 or 4 turnovers. You know how rare that is in basketball?
No, that's
hard. I don't care how
Rick.
good you are.
That's hard.
In basketball,
with all
to
the
turn
things that
the
it
ball
could come
over
from,
4
Rick,
times.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the steals in their defense, then they get points off other teams' turnovers. So that's working right. And they have found ways to win games differently. They can win it from the outside. They can win a tough game like Corpus Christi, bouncing around with body-on-body kind of thing.
But, Rick, I think at the end of the day, I think they can wear a lot of teams down by their rotation. You got kids coming off the bench that's fresh.
Yeah.
And you got kids on the other team that's playing all these minutes because that's the top of their talent level. They have to go with them.
And they're very good. Because they got guys coming off the bench that could easily be starters.
Anywhere else,
all right, we talked about it earlier in the week. It's fun to watch Will Wade on the sideline.
Yeah.
Because UIW, he had to be up at one point by 25, but I'm sitting there watching him, and he's just like steam is coming out of his ears, especially in the second half when they gave up 50
and I know what you're talking
points
about too.
in the second half.
I know what you're talking about,
to a team that was minus 4 key players because of suspension.
And their coach.
And their coach. Good point.
Yeah.
But you got to watch Wade because he's always, his bar is so high for this team.
It is, Rick.
Okay, we're going to win by 30.
It
but
is.
you're doing things on the floor that may come up and bite you in the rear end
Later
come
on.
tournament time, be it the conference tournament or the NCAA. He's thinking that so far
And
ahead.
the one thing that I think that we talked about, Rick, is those uncontested threes. You have to get in, kids. You have to. Because those are shots there, Rick, they can get you caught. They can come back and bite you, Rick. Those uncontested threes, man. So
even an old guy like you can get in there in a practice and hit some deep corner threes. You'll hit a few of them without if nobody's around you, right?
Yeah, no, not at all.
He made a point earlier in the week about their rotation and hustle and things like that.
But at one point, Rick, if I'm not mistaken, when we watched the game, he actually had 3-point guards on the floor. At one time, they played lots of minutes.
Yeah, it depends on the opposition.
They were up. Yes, they were up by 20, but that was kind of rare. I mean,
last week we debated. I thought that this team, if they didn't win the tournament, was deserving of an at-large. Well, I looked a little bit, and then I heard the comments by Wade.
That's tough.
Will Wade said on Poke Nation that airs right here on CBS Lake Charles that if indeed they don't win the automatic bid, they'll have a 3% chance.
That's not high. That's
3% of getting an at-large.
That's not good.
Primarily because they don't have wins against
big teams,
bigger teams that did well this year. And then I looked at the latest NCAA mock bracket.
Yeah.
None of the teams the Cowboys have beaten are anywhere near the NCAA.
Really? Wow.
Southern Miss, not even close. UL Lafayette, UAB, Michigan's not getting it.
Michigan
They're not getting it.
I was going to bring that up. Michigan.
Again, beating those higher metric teams is going to hurt McNeese.
You got to win the tournament, Rick.
Which I thought was interesting.
You got to win it.
And what perplexed me from Wade, the media pressed him about the brawl at UIW, and he said that, well, I don't know all the information. I don't want to pass. I don't want to pass judgment on it.
I want to know what caused that. That's what I want to know.
Who cares? I'm thinking,
I
Coach,
get that.
just look at the video. That's all. And you know and he said it wasn't good for the league. But actions like that, it's an easy.
Let me say this, Rick.
No, you don't need to know any more than that.
To me, to the fans that's out there, this is something that would set me off. At the end of a game, that if I lost, and if the opposing player came up to me at the end of the game saying, yeah, I hate that your grandmother passed away, but we still whip you. See that? We don't know what's being said, Rick. And Rick, that would set anybody off.
You had to bring up the grandmother.
That would set you don't know what was being said. That's why I asked what was said. What was
I'll
said.
find out for you. But when I know, what I'm going to tell you what I know is great casual dining at the Max Bar and Grill at the National in Westlake. Hot off the grill, prime steaks and burgers, fresh seafood galore, great po' boys and sandwiches, and a full array of apps and desserts. The bar serves up cold beer and great cocktails. And check out the patio for outside dining.
If it's a story worth telling, it starts with Getaways specializing in me time. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Escapes to soak the day away. And rounds on a course designed by Tom Fazio. Start a story all your own at Le Berge Lake Charles.
We're the attorneys Southwest Louisiana has known and trusted for decades. We fought relentlessly for our clients and won. We are proud to announce a new name based on our legacy of success. We are Lundy Law. The name may be new, but our team's commitment to pursuing justice for our clients has never been stronger. From personal injury and maritime cases to insurance claims, mass tort, and civil litigation, you can count on the experienced attorneys at Lundy Law.
Simply Spiked Lemonade, made with real fruit that fell from its tree and rolled right into the party. Simply Spiked. Tastes like your favorite juice, now spiked. Now introducing Simply Spiked Peach. It's getting juicy.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
All right, welcome back to Sound Off, coming to you from the Sportsbook at Le Berge. You come down here for elite sports gaming, of course. And look, you can just come down here for lunch, dinner,
you can enjoy
and
some
late
good
night
food
snack,
too,
great
Rick.
food here.
Chef Lyle has the
elite
best.
sports gaming, we know it, and of course wall-to-wall sports.
Everywhere there's
live
a TV.
sports and all. And hey, March Madness is coming up.
Yes, it is.
Get ready.
March
It's going to get
Madness,
crazy
man.
over here for March Madness.
I can't wait.
Speaking of postseason tournaments, the Southland Conference, McNeese will host the Southland Conference
will.
tournament
For the
the second straight year. The new contract that they signed with the league, they kind of gave up the baseball and they gave up the women's softball so they can add years to hosting the men's basketball tournament.
Which you should, Rick.
Nothing against baseball and softball.
Which you should, Rick.
But the amount of revenue
Look at where it's played at, Rick.
Yeah.
That's got to be the best place in the conference.
How much of an advantage home court in basketball. When
I'll
you
tell
played in college football at LSU and even with the Broncos, did you really feel? Did you feel it?
Rick,
The home court advantage.
On a scale, home court advantage, on a scale from 1 to 10.
A home field for you.
Home field advantage, on a scale from 1 to 10, 13.
That much.
Dude, you
That
want to play for your home.
You
want to play for your
Yeah,
people,
no, but
man.
you played for some lousy Bronco teams. You played on some lousy Bronco teams, man. Come on.
Look, Rick.
Elway didn't win a Super Bowl 20 years after you left.
Look,
come on.
Elway was giving out cards, man, after wins of games. So you know what? That made you play harder, man, okay? Elway had the largest dealership in Colorado.
I get it.
Home field advantage, Rick. Rick, how can you go wrong? Rick, to me, that's what motivates me as a player.
Yeah.
It motivates
well,
me,
look,
man.
number one, they'll sell out games because
No
the
doubt.
Cowboys are great. They're going to
There's
sell
no
out
doubt.
games for the tournament. That's them. Number two, the vision and the shooting angles of your home court. Can you imagine going to Houston Christian and playing? I mean, the gym is this big. I mean, I'm just saying.
It is. It's a high school
The
gym.
sight
really.
line.
I've been
the
there before,
sight
Rick.
lines. You're used to the sight lines
It's
and
a
the
high
shooting
school gym.
angles. And then, of course, you're home.
Yeah.
You're home.
I mean,
You're
that's
eating home
your court.
cooking.
That's your court, Rick.
So yeah, the playing the
That's
home court
huge,
is
Rick. That's
going to be
huge.
huge for them.
That's huge, man.
And of course, but the biggest thing, and we've been harping on this, I hearken back to before Will Wade got the job. And here's again what we talked about earlier in the week, or I think earlier in the show. He's constantly looking ahead. When he was looking at the McNeese job, one of the first
He
one or
wants
two things.
championships. He's looking at championships.
He's looking at how do I get to the NCAA
He's
tournament.
looking at championships. Rick.
And Wade was saying, I looked at the league. If I win the regular season, I've got 2 games to win to get into the NCAA. And he's so used to going to the NCAA, he wants to get there.
That's it. Because if
You get a
win,
double bye.
If you win, that's exactly. So you only got to play a semifinals game
And a final.
Look,
Where
man,
if you're not in the double bye,
No,
you got to
you're
play
not.
3 or 4 games.
And you know what? That's where some teams get
It's
caught up
huge.
at, Rick. You know, some teams get caught up in that first 2 games, man. You know.
Yeah, McNeese is.
That's the scary
He
thing
saw
about
where
it.
McNeese
He
is
did.
path to the
He did.
NCAA if he can win that regular
He did.
season, and if he can win the, if he won
And
the
Rick,
regular season, he gets the double
You
bye.
know what? The thing that I think, man, being that Wade has coached at much higher places, I think that he can have those guys in a more calmer state to say,
'Cause
guys,
he's
come
been there.
That's my point, Rick.
He
That's
knows
my
what
point.
it takes.
That's
It's going to
my
be
point, Rick.
huge.
So,
It's going to be huge.
man, I look for big things out of McNeese this year in basketball. I do.
Well,
I really do, Rick.
We'll get into it more next week, we'll check out the mock brackets that are
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
The latest one still has McNeese with a possible
Wow.
12th seed
Are you
in
serious?
the Midwest Division
12 seed.
playing
Whew.
Dayton
Whew.
in Salt Lake City in the Midwest.
Wow.
In the Midwest.
Are you serious?
Yeah. A
12
seed.
seed?
That
I know,
means
Rick.
you're playing a number 5.
Yeah.
You're not
Rick.
playing a number 1 or a
Yeah.
number 2. That's huge
You could stay,
from
man.
a matchup
You
standpoint.
could stay in there,
Look,
Rick,
the
and get some
issue
advantage.
with home court in college basketball this year, every week a top 10 team is
Yeah.
losing on the road.
Rick,
Purdue
basketball is-
constantly loses on the home court and playing those road games this year. I don't know what it is, but more of those highly ranked teams, Kevin, are losing on the road.
It's happened a lot, Rick. And you know what, Rick? And the
It's
thing
incredible.
about it, in college basketball nowadays, Rick, you've got kids, student sections that live for that because a lot of it's on national television.
Yeah.
So they want to put their best foot. They have signs that are made at the free throw line that distract you. Rick, I don't think I could possibly shoot a free throw with what the kids
Yeah.
are doing behind there, man. I could not shoot a free throw.
I don't know
man.
what game it was.
I couldn't shoot
I
a
wish
free
I
throw, man.
remember. It obviously they had
I
a
could
swim
not shoot
team.
a free throw.
It was pretty creative.
Oh, I bet
They
it
had
was.
the men's swimming team, like 10 guys lined up on the opposition
Yeah, free
behind
throw.
the goal,
Free throw.
and they were all in Speedos.
Yeah, Rick.
Now
Rick,
it
I
was
saw that.
PG rated.
No, I saw
They
that.
didn't do anything.
But look-
but they were standing there in their Speedos to
Let me-
try to
let me-
distract the
Let me
shooter
tell
at
you
the free
something.
throw line. It was
those,
hilarious.
Those seats, Rick,
Hilarious.
are especially nobody else can sit in those but people that they
But-
want in those seats.
well,
Believe me
the
when I tell you
students,
that.
the students.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, look, one of the problems for the Southland Conference is in getting anything other than the automatic.
yeah, that's hard stuff.
It's been a lousy basketball league.
It has, Rick, for quite.
I mean, opposite of Corpus Christi the last couple
Yeah.
of years, winning.
Stephen F.
Stephen F.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
But Kevin, you're
That
going
was
back
just.
10
I
years.
am. That was a while. Whoa,
And
Rick.
remember Northwestern State when
remember.
McConaughey had a couple of good teams up there, but what they still were a 15th
other
or
than
16th
that, Rick,
seed.
That's about it, Rick.
So unfortunately, this league just doesn't have the depth of basketball.
Wow.
And it's a one-bid lead.
But
and it's unfortunate for this year.
It is, Rick.
Because McNeese deserves.
They do, no doubt about it.
I'm confident they'll win the tournament. But I don't know. Maybe Corpus Christi or Southeastern might be deserving. But they're never going to get in.
No, they won't.
They're never going to get in.
One team, Rick.
And look.
One team.
When I played high school basketball, I weighed all of 120 pounds, but I was a beast down low.
What? Come on,
I played physical basketball.
Can we have some film? We got some film on this.
I cheated. I cheated a lot. I grabbed guys by the jersey. No, my point is, I like physical basketball to a point, but the league now has, because the last 10 years, they put football linebackers down on the court.
You see that?
They're just.
You see that, and Rick, let me tell you something.
Body on body. It's not a good style of basketball.
And Wade knew that coming here because look at some of the guys that he recruited. That he
Column.
6'8". Yeah.
240. CJ Felder.
He knew that. He knew that, Rick.
6'7", 250.
They can compete with anybody, Rick, because he knew that was going to be the style of basketball.
Had to.
Here in the Southland Conference.
He had to. And look, he was prepared.
He was.
He had a metric.
He did.
I got to win the regular season.
Look.
This is my goal. Get into the tournament. I only got 2 games to win to get to the NCAA. It's always forward thinking. This program has never had.
When you look at it, Rick, and all the years that McNeese has had basketball there, and you go back and look at your Joe Dumars team, it's the only one I can remember. I mean, how is it that they couldn't have gotten to this point some years back, Rick? When you think about
it. They've been to the NCAA tournament a couple of times.
But when has McNeese basketball been this exciting, Rick?
Save that for next week because
Okay.
An interesting debate would be Christian Shoemate. Would he go into a McNeese top 10 on an all-time roster?
I need to answer that for next week.
Let's think about that.
All right.
And if Shahada Weld had a couple years, he might crack that top 10 too.
Man.
There are a lot of good players that play for McNeese. Rub
Rick.
against the clock. We got to run. We'll be right back with round 3. Stay right there.
We're the attorneys Southwest Louisiana has known and trusted for decades. We fought relentlessly for our clients and won. We are proud to announce a new name based on our legacy of success. We are Lundy Law. The name may be new, but our team's commitment to pursuing justice for our clients has never been stronger. From personal injury and maritime cases to insurance claims, mass tort, and civil litigation, you can count on the experienced attorneys at Lundy Law.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Simply Spiked Lemonade. Made with real fruit that fell from its tree and rolled right into the party. Simply Spiked. Tastes like your favorite juice, now spiked. Now introducing Simply Spiked Peach. It's getting juicy.
All right, we're back at the Sportsbook at LeBaron. This is SoundOff.
Yes.
We're at the Sportsbook. You come here and you have elite sports betting.
You do.
College football is going to a 12. I know, but college football is going to a 12-team playoff.
You wanted this.
I've been wanting this for 20 years.
You wanted this. I didn't want it.
Do you want to open up that Pandora's box
I'm just saying. You wanted this. I didn't want it.
The transfer portal has spread the talent across the country.
But Rick, everybody's got the chance of getting those players. It's open to everybody.
Then give more teams a chance for a shot at the title. You just want to block out the little guy.
So what are you
You want
saying?
all the teams to come from the SEC and the Big Ten. That's what you want.
But when you
that's
think
what it's
about
been
it,
with for, really.
But Rick, don't these kids want to go to programs that are winning?
Yeah, and they are, and teams number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, 13, they
so
win too.
So you blaming those schools for being winning schools?
No.
Okay.
I'm just you're getting me off track. All right. So the new 12-team
12 teams. Wow.
If a little bit later on, a little TV tease, the CFP Management Council, they're now talking about expanding to 14 and 16. I'm telling you, that's coming up. All right, so the 12-team league. Here's how it's going to break down. I'm going to see if you like this.
Oh, I know how it breaks down.
You got the power, we'll call it the Power 4 of the conference.
SEC,
you know what that. Go ahead.
Pac-10, Pac-12, and the ACC.
No, you're wrong again. Pac-12 no longer exists, man.
No, not the Pac-12. No, the Big 10.
Big 12.
The Big 12 and the Big 10.
SEC,
yes.
Big 10.
And the ACC.
And the ACC. That's the Power 4.
I just missed one.
Okay.
Look.
Then the highest ranked team in the group of 5, the all others, will be part of the Power 5, the 5.
Which will be the 5, yeah.
they're all going to get in. And then you have 7 at large.
7 at large.
Now, the key or the caveat to this is the highest ranked 4 teams out of that 5 get automatic buys. Real important now.
It is.
Okay,
it
real
is.
important. Those other ones, those other 8
So
teams.
you would have a 2-week bye.
No, you have 1 week.
1 week?
1 week. Yeah. Then you
Okay.
have the other teams all playing, interesting on-campus playoff games.
Which I think
Can
that's
you
good.
I mean, good.
I think that,
That's
man,
incredible.
you at your home school playing in a
playoff
playoff game?
That's going to be huge.
Wow.
That is huge. So it's a 5-7 format.
Yeah.
Do you like it? I'm trying to convince you the 12 team is going to be great. You like it? You're still against 12 teams, even with that? Because you don't think.
My thing is,
you don't think, say, if Cincinnati goes on another run and gets into the top 12, you say they have no chance, right?
okay. So let me ask you this here. By what happened this past year, how do you fix a Florida State? How do you fix that?
Florida State was royally screwed by the committee.
No doubt.
Because it was only 4 teams, right?
Right.
If it was 6 or 8 or 10 or 12, they would have been in.
But they were undefeated, am I correct?
They were undefeated as the
Okay.
AC champion.
Okay.
And they didn't get in.
That's my point.
Because they didn't have a starting quarterback.
That's my point,
unfair.
Rick. That's unfair, Rick. But it happened, Rick.
It did happen. And it was the committee's fault,
Look,
in my opinion.
Look.
Because you just don't know what's going to happen in college football. I'm sorry.
What's going to happen is this, Rick.
They deserve to be in.
Okay, what's going to happen is this, Rick. You're going to have those 4 teams that get in by winning the conference championship.
Yes.
And that 5th
Highest
team
rank.
is going to be the highest
is
ranked.
going to be how they're ranked. Highest ranked.
If you've got 3 SEC teams in the top 3, don't you think some of those other teams are going to be pissed off because they're going to come 5, 6, and 7?
Let's just say, and you're going really off the reservation.
Wait a minute, now
but
that can't happen.
If Georgia does not win the SEC championship, and look, you got Oklahoma now and Texas coming up next year. I'm not sure how the SEC is going to do this thing yet.
It's going to be
let's
wild.
just say Georgia doesn't win the conference championship in the SEC. And you're saying they don't win, but they're ranked in the top 3?
Yeah.
They got to win the conference championship.
No,
they won't get
there
in.
is no doubt.
They won't get into the
there is
autumn,
no
but they'll
doubt,
get
Rick.
in an at-large.
That's it. But what I'm saying, so you could possibly have 3 SEC
You
teams.
could.
Yeah, that's my point, Rick.
Via the at-large.
But you're going to have some other teams out there that's not going to like that.
Well, then they should have been higher ranked. They should have been better. You need to expand the pool.
I agree.
Okay? And look,
I agree.
I'm going to be out there with my pom-poms.
You
I'd
want-
love a 16-team field.
You want those teams, Rick,
I want a 16-team field.
that still say, you know what, we were undefeated, but we didn't get in. Those are the ones that you want to help, Rick. I get that, Rick.
Well, look,
I get
don't
that.
go nutty on me.
No, man, I mean, I get
okay.
that because you brought that up for
Slippery
years,
Rock.
Rick. You brought that up for
Slippery
years.
Rock
But
goes
they
undefeated.
But they
No.
were undefeated, Kevin. Why didn't they get into
We're talking Florida State, man.
I know.
They
Florida
beat
State,
LSU.
They was, hey, look,
I'm
dude.
just saying.
They
All
had
right.
their starting quarterback,
Let me go
too.
out on a limb here. I'm still going through some type of withdrawal that the Pac-12 is no longer a Power
It's gone.
5.
It's gone, Rick.
All right, am I really off the reservation again? Washington State and Oregon State, the 2 remaining Pac-12, they're going to play in this West Coast Conference, which is the basketball league, with Gonzaga and all those California. But if they would go to the Mountain West for football, let's say, along with Air Force.
Who's in it?
Air Force, Boise State, Nevada, San Diego State. I can run up. I know, don't throw anything at your TV, but I would put the Mountain West as a Power 5 if it included Washington State and Oregon State. Am I right or wrong?
You're wrong, because you know why I wouldn't take them serious?
Again, you're going to diss the little guy.
Who can take Boise State serious when they have a blue football field?
Oh, gosh, you always got to do that stupid stuff.
Who can take them serious
Wyoming?
when they have a blue football field?
Wyoming? They're not worthy? Fresno State? Colorado State?
No.
Colorado State almost beat Deion Sanders in Colorado, remember that? San Diego State, Nevada? Only if Washington State and Oregon State was in the Mountain West. I think they should be a Power 5.
Now, Washington State, you're talking big time, okay?
Well, they're the lower tier of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I'm just having withdrawal pains of having no Pac-12.
I got you.
I don't like Power 4. I like Power 5. I want a bigger pool.
I'm going to tell you, Rick, the SEC is going to dominate this whole thing, and people are going to want to change it in the next 4 or 5 years because the SEC is going to dominate it still, and they're not going to like it.
Well,
and that's what's going to happen.
It's a good point. And again, another moment for you on a show. Primarily because what did the SEC do?
Yes.
expand.
Rick,
Oklahoma is going to be better,
Rick,
and
look,
Texas is going to be a
what-
beast.
I looked
Texas
the other day,
is
Rick.
going to be a beast.
What is the SEC contract? Is it 1.3 billion? What is the
It
contract?
is. It's 1.3 billion,
Rick.
6 years for the playoff.
Come on, Rick.
That's why they're going to go to 14 or 16. Why? Because there's more playoff games. It's supply and demand.
There is no doubt.
You
there's
get
supply
more
and demand,
playoff
Rick.
games.
You do.
They can up the
You get more
ante,
television time.
ESPN, and
Look.
get them to pay 1.8 billion.
But I just think
it's all
at the
about
end of the
money.
day,
It's all
at the
about
end
the
of the
money.
day, the SEC is going to dominate, and nobody's going to be happy because they're going to keep saying, "Why is there more SEC teams in the?"
And my
playoff?
answer to that, my
Sorry.
argument to that, Kevin, is again
God,
simply
come on.
play better
I know what
and
you're
be
saying.
higher ranked.
Yeah.
Because now there's a lot less excuses because you do have 12 shots at it,
Yeah.
and you could have 14, you could have 16.
And wait, didn't you say one of the things that would make it a lot more?
But you're going to have
balanced-
teams in there with a loss.
You
no doubt.
will. You will. It has always happened that
course.
way. But Rick, the thing that you said that I listened to is that they should be happy with this because you know what? Every team has the portal.
Yes. With the transfer portal, the talent level is now spread out more than it was.
You can't make
Freedom of
excuses
movement.
you had 5, 6, 7 years ago.
You
cannot
now,
make those excuses
the parity
anymore.
in college football,
You're exactly right.
it's a little better. It
It
ain't
is.
that, it's not like the NFL.
It is. No, it's
but
not.
it's a little better. You like did I convince you of the 12 team? I'll keep working on him. I will. Kevin Gidry, Rick Sarah, thanks
Always,
for hanging
guys.
with us here at SoundOff. We'll see you next time down the road right here at CBS Lake Charles.
If it's a story worth telling, it starts with Getaways specializing in me time. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Escapes to soak the day away. And rounds on a course designed by Tom Fazio. Start a story all your own at Le Berge Lake Charles.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.